Here are your hosts, Hank Davis and Mello Betts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mello's NFL Weekly. I'm your host, former professional athlete Hank Davis. This is week 2 of season 7, and you're tuned in to Tiger Prince Entertainment. Joining me on the line, he is our resident professor of sports and the gambling guru. He's Mello Betts. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, baby.
Awesome. You did great on your picks last week.
11-5.
I was Mr. Even Steven. Stayed even though I thought I did a lot worse than that. After I checked the books, I was in decent shape.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
That too. Mello, you ready to run down some news stories?
Okay.
It's time for the news, a roundup of all the biggest headlines.
NFL teams combined for 791 points. The most for an opening week and second most in league history. Only in week 12 of 2008 were more points scored, and that was 837. Mello, any thoughts?
When you put rules in play for more scoring, guess what you're going to get?
A little more scoring?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pass interference, holding. What else gets you down the field fast?
Any kind of a penalty around in the end zone there, you can get it on the one, which pretty much guarantees you're going to score if you're any kind of a team.
Yes, this is true. So, I guess next year they'll try to do better, right?
Yeah.
Is this good for the game to be scoring this much?
I think it's not because, no lead is really safe with the way the rules are in place, with the pass interference all the way down the field and all that business.
Yes, I know that all too well. I'm a Raiders fan. The National Football League has earned its highest overall grade for gender diversity hiring practices, with the study's author landing new initiatives set forth by the NFL's top executives. The annual report by the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sport gave the league its third consecutive A grade on racial hiring and its first C+ for gender hiring practices. The combined B score of 82.3% is an NFL all-time high. In the league office, 28 women and people of color worked at or above the vice president level. That's an increase of 8%. On the field, half of last season's playoff teams had either an African-American head coach or general manager. Mello, any thoughts about this?
Whenever this creeps into ownership, then you can tell me something.
0% of the NFL's owners. So a non-story to you, Mello?
That's nice, and that you put a fresh coat of paint on these things and stuff. But like I said, till we're talking ownership, not a big deal.
So is this more of a pat on the back fluff piece that they try to run?
Oh, I think so, and that's what they're about these days, so yeah.
So remember Jacksonville's Khan, he became the first majority owner of color in the league.
Okay.
Majority owner, though. You know what I mean? That's it's not the same, I don't think.
No.
When you have a consortium.
Rather than a family that's handing it down generation after generation. Old school money.
Indianapolis is going to try to protect Andrew Luck at all costs, even if this means shaking things up this season. After watching their new franchise quarterback hit the ground far too often last Sunday, General Manager Ryan Grigson and Coach Chuck Pagano wasted no time in sending a message to the Colts offensive line. Things must improve. But this is what you've got. I don't understand when... I guess you're going to have to shed some light on this, Mello, because when you have your 53-man roster and you've decided that these are the guys you're going to go with on this offensive line, how on earth do you say, hey, this is unacceptable now? We got to get you guys up to speed? How do you not know that beforehand?
I don't see how that's going to really help anything by saying that. I mean, you're right. These are the guys that are on your roster. It's kind of late to be making any changes now unless you've got somebody sitting behind them that you think can step in there. I don't see how you motivate people to be better than what they are. If that's what you got, that's probably just what you got. And it's about matchups too. There's going to be some matchups that just probably aren't favorable for some of these guys.
And a lot of these times, these teams have the budget linemen, so they can afford the big time quarterback or receiver.
You got that right. You can't have it all, people. If you're going to spend, and with all these formulas and stuff, has anybody ever figured the formula for if you want to spend all your money on the quarterback, where you have to cut back? And if you have to cut back on the offensive line, then sorry. But,
yeah.
You want to pay all this money for these quarterbacks. You can't have it both ways, guys.
Because I do believe your opponents are watching the exact same footage you're watching of your guys not making blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, anyway. Bill Belichick and his coaching staff won't be taking the Cardinals lightly, especially after they kind of pumped up Larry Fitzgerald. So Belichick says he loves the play of his opponents.
Oh, boy.
And everybody should remember that Curtis Painter last year was benched right after Belichick got done praising him. But the Larry Fitzgerald story, that should be legit. So now we've got the love fest between Bill Belichick. He and Larry Fitzgerald. He thinks he's a great receiver and might go down as one of the all-time greats and maybe the best ever.
Oh, my word. Get where's the shower at to get this lather off of me now? That's ridiculous.
Is this some kind of psychology that he's using on people?
It's the kill him with kindness, I think he's adhering to on this one right here.
The old, I don't know how we'll stop him.
Yeah, that's the old. I mean, I guess you just leave them with their mouth wide open because they can't believe you are talking like that.
Thank you very much. Jay Cutler might have a new offensive system and new weapons, such as Brandon Marshall. But after throwing 4 interceptions against the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night, he's the same old Jay, according to Charles Woodson. Mello, what were your thoughts on the game itself and then the trash talk afterwards?
I just thought that, nice job by Green Bay with the fake field goal to get the touchdown, to get the lead, to get Jay into pressing, to get him to do what he does best, which when he presses is turn it over. I just thought he kind of gave that game away with the harder he tries pressing, the worse it got for his team. And body language, terrible. Not good leadership. Just, I don't know. It looked so promising in the first week. It just looked so terrible. Somewhere in between is the real Chicago team.
What about shoving your offensive line?
That's not cool. That is not cool at all. Especially when those guys can rip your freaking head off if they really wanted to.
I'm trying to stop them. I'm sorry, Jay.
That's just not good leadership. And he's, I don't know if he's missing some kind of chromosome or what's his problem, but he just falls into that same old pouty face, and that just is, you're not going to fire your team up acting like that.
Wonder what chromosome that would be.
I don't know.
Turnover? The Rex Grossman chromosome?
The one that keeps you from being a girl, I guess.
Oh, okay. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is enjoying the freedom of playing in new offensive coordinator Todd Haley's no-huddle system. He says the Steelers are getting up to speed on their new no-huddle offense. Mello, isn't that an oxymoron? Steelers and speed. Steelers and speed.
Yeah.
He said, oh, goodness. Maybe he meant quickly give the ball back to the opposition.
There you go.
The new no-huddle. But seriously, though, Mello, what do you think? Do you think there is a place for the no-huddle in the NFL? And if so, does it really help?
Yeah, in the matchups thing, when they want to come in with those 2 huge defensive tackles to shut your run game down, you get them trapped into that game and get them winded is what the old theory behind that that I ever seen. That's where it came from was, All right, you got those big boys in the middle. We're going to run side to side and get them tired, and then we'll mess up your defensive rotation.
Very good. Mello, the NFL is close to adding cameras into the goal line pylons. Now, will this be beneficial in your opinion, or do you think we are just getting carried away with the cameras?
That'll be a wild angle. Won't that be a wild angle? You won't be able to tell what's going on looking from that camera, will you?
No, I can't imagine. Especially, what if some guy is standing there and his leg is in the way?
Yeah, or the sun you're right into the sun or something like
Beaming
that.
down.
I don't know. Maybe they know what they're doing, but I doubt it.
I mean, in theory, it sounds really interesting to get a really close shot of is he over the goal line or not. But you'd have to believe it if the ball's down there, then it's going to be a convoluted mess of defense and offensive players.
I would think so. And what about when somebody takes the pylon out? Aren't they going to take the camera out, and then we have to wait on you to get another camera installed in there?
I hope no. I hope it's not like basketball with the backboard.
Oh, heck no.
Mello, I want to switch things up and go to the old segment we like to call Shut Up.
Okay.
Shut up!
John Madden stopped by Sirius XM's NFL radio and dropped a doozy when discussing the outstanding Week 1 performance of Bob Griffin III, as you call him. He said, "You know the thing that he did that was so amazing was he reminded me, and I don't mean to throw names around, but he reminded me of a Tim Tebow that can pass."
Sing.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? A Tim Tebow that can pass? Why would he remind you of somebody that doesn't do the one thing that you're crediting him for doing?
You want me to explain Maddenism? I can't do it. I mean, all I know is the fumble's a fumble's a fumble, really.
80% of football is 100% mental.
Yes.
And thus, for that, Mr. Madden.
Shut up!
Jeez, oh, Pete. Mello, we got rave reviews last week for the portion of the show we call That's Not Football.
All right.
So you ready to do it again?
Let's do it again.
Actress Eva Longoria confirmed she's dating New York Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez. Mello?
That is not football.
RG3 mania is sweeping the nation. And what's a national QB craze without a signature pose to mimic? Make way for griffining.
Oh,
You
boy.
sit on your butt and you point both index fingers towards the sky.
Okay. But that's not football.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers appears to be a nice guy with a pretty good sense of humor. So when asked what makes him laugh, reporters were a bit perplexed by his answer. What Rodgers really finds hilarious is the smugness routinely displayed by Alex Trebek during an episode of Jeopardy. Mello?
That is not that's not football. It's not.
The most talked about potential handshake in the NFL since Bill Belichick and Eric Mangini could take place Sunday, or maybe not. And Las Vegas would like a piece of the action.
Oh, no.
The Bovada Online Sportsbook has put a line on whether Detroit Lions coach Jim Schwartz will shake hands with San Francisco 49ers counterpart Jim Harbaugh after the teams play Sunday. Bovada, as part of its NFL player props, believes the two will either shake hands or hug after the game.
Oh, no.
The line was minus 500 that they do and plus 300 that they don't. The website says that the handshake or hug must be clearly seen on TV for the bet to be final. Mello?
That's not football.
And one last one. It was a cute idea that would add to the laughs and possibly make a few dollars for the Salvation Army along the way. Jerry Jones' son-in-law, Shai Anderson, cleaned the Dallas Cowboys owner's glasses on national television and decided to try to make a buck off the popularity. Anderson came up with the microfiber cloth for cleaning glasses and called them Jerry wipes. So he's selling those for $2.99 on the team's website. Mello?
That's not football.
And that does it for for that portion of the show. I am just shocked at how many things go through that are reported under football that aren't football.
They're not football. That is not football. Maybe possibly football related, but it's not football.
Are you ready for the rap sheet, Mello?
I doubt it.
You might want to get a pillow.
Oh boy.
Calling all cars. Calling all cars. Be advised, we have NFL players on the loose.
Drawing $15,750 fines were Minnesota defensive end Everson Griffin for a helmet-to-helmet contact with Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Blaine Gabbert, and Dallas tackle Tyron Smith for a horse collar tackle. Vikings defensive tackle Leroy Guyon was fined $7,875 for roughing Blaine Gabbert. Kansas City running back Sean Drawn was fined $7,875 for unnecessary roughness against Atlanta. Miami center Mike Pouncey drew the same amount for the same act against Houston. Speaking of Houston, the Texans defensive end Antonio Smith says he's been fined $21,000 by the league for kicking Miami guard Richie Incognito during last week's win over the Dolphins. Hi-ya! Incognito said that he was innocent of any wrongdoing when asked if he instigated the whole situation. Yeah. And he argued that videotape supported his contention. The NFL agreed that I wasn't fined. The eye in the sky doesn't lie, Incognito said. Safeties, Meadow Williams of Washington, Taylor Mays of Cincinnati, Raheem Moore of Denver have been fined $21,000 each by the NFL for unnecessary roughness. Tamba Ali woke up Sunday morning, went for a walk, and then settled in to watch the Kansas City Chiefs on TV. The Pro Bowl linebacker was back on the practice field Wednesday after serving a one-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy.
That son of a...
Ali apologized for the transgression, but refused to give details about what caused the NFL to discipline him.
Didn't apologize to me.
Six-time Pro Bowl receiver Chad Johnson has been formally charged with one count of misdemeanor domestic battery. The Broward State Attorney's Office filed the charge Wednesday. Johnson faces up to a year in county jail. Johnson was arrested last month after his wife accused him of headbutting her during an argument in front of their home. He was later freed on $2,500 bond. Maurice Jones-Drew was fined for his 38-day holdout, but just how much was he fined? That's a mystery. NFL.com reported that he was fined $800,000 for his holdout. But MJD says that number is incorrect. However, he won't reveal just how much it actually was.
Inquiring minds want to know.
And lastly, Cleveland Browns cornerback Joe Hayden has been suspended without pay for 4 games for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing substances.
Oh.
And that's going to do it for the extensive edition of the Rap Sheet, Mello. Goodness gracious.
Wow.
We had trouble in paradise.
Only week 2. Good gosh.
No, there's still more time. Still
They're
more
not
time.
even warmed up yet.
No, we got plenty of more criminal activity. We haven't even scratched the surface here. Nobody's stolen a car yet, done coke off a credit card. None of the stuff that we've reported in the last couple seasons. Mello, anything before we have to start making our picks?
I say there's a lot of overreaction. I was listening to a lot of the national hype and stuff, and there's a lot of overreaction to 1 week of football. So I'm saying everybody just calm down. It's going to be all right.
take your meds, people.
Yes.
It's not over.
The
Even
legal ones, that is. Not your
Yes.
prescribed ones.
not the ones you got from a Cleveland corner. Kidding. Jokes, people. And yeah, 0-2 is not the end of the world, by the way.
No.
But it should be. All right, Mello, you know what time it is.
Time to pick 'em.
It's time to pick 'em. Remember, picks are made for entertainment purposes only.
All right. Yes, entertainment, but it wasn't very funny last week for me. At the New York Giants, the Giants are going to lay 7 points to the visiting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Giants laying that 7. I could be way off the mark here, but if there's a team that's going to cover, I'm going to take the Giants. Who you got, Mello?
I'm going to take Tampa Bay to play better than what they did last week. I think they're going to show some signs of life. I don't like them to win this game, but I'll take them getting the 7 anyway.
At New England, the Patriots are going to lay 13.5, the largest spread on the board, against the Arizona Cardinals. Mello, you've got corn on the cob, and you've got Arizona coming from west to east. It's a 1 o'clock game.
Yep.
Give me the Patriots. They're going to lambaste these guys. Who you taking?
Yeah, never a big fan of covering the big, huge point spread, but in this case, I can make an exception. Arizona coming across, like you said, and Cobb, yeah, looked good in the last, couple minutes of that game. Now you're going to get a whole game to screw up, so let's see how you do there, baby. Give me New England.
Minnesota is going to lay 1.5 points on the road at Indianapolis. I went back and forth on this game because I am not sold on either of these teams at all, period. The lines of scrimmage, question mark, big playability, question mark. But I'm gonna take Minnesota. If you're gonna tell me that points are gonna be at a premium, go ahead, pencil me in for Minnesota. I think they can just run the ball and salt the clock. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I don't have a strong argument, but I am in agreement, so I'll take Minnesota as well.
New Orleans, the Saints are going to go marching in as a 2.5 point favorite at Carolina. Man, I kind of hemmed and hawed on this game too, but I'm going to take the Saints. That 2.5 is just not enough to get me to bite for taking Carolina. Who you got?
Yeah, I got New Orleans as well. Carolina disappointed me last week, and New Orleans they'll be in that little bit of a desperate mode this week, so I think they've got to get this win, and they will deliver on it.
At Buffalo, -3, Kansas City. Here they come. I'm going to take Buffalo -3, and a lot of people might say that's a little crazy or whatnot, but I think they're going to get it done this week, and especially against Kansas City. Kansas City didn't show me a lot. Who you taking?
Yeah, this is a hard one to pick, but I'm going to stick with Kansas City for another week here and see if they can show me something.
At Philadelphia, the Eagles are going to lay 2.5 to the visiting Baltimore Ravens. I think this is my biggest and best play of the week. I'm taking Baltimore getting the points. They should win this game clean. Who you taking?
Yeah, this is a very strange line if you ask me, but I believe in Baltimore, so I don't think there's going to be any setback or anything. And Philadelphia played awful last week and still got the win. I'd say that's fortunate that they still were able to come out of there with that win, but I don't think when the rubber meets the road, that wide 9 against Baltimore, I think Baltimore can score with Philadelphia, which in times past I wouldn't have been able to say that. So I like Baltimore. I think they're the better team, and I think they prove it on the road this week.
The Oakland Raiders are going to lay 2.5 as they travel west to east to face Miami. If this was any other team, literally, I would take that team at home. But this is Miami. They're thin at running back. They have a bunch of no-name receivers. The quarterback is 8 feet tall and can't get the ball over the offensive line. I'm taking Oakland. I don't even think they can screw this game up. Who are you taking?
Yeah, Miami, remember last year, they didn't have any home field advantage, so the traveling east doesn't really scare me when the team doesn't have a home field advantage. Miami just isn't good. I'm not taking them to beat me, you, and 10 guys, 11 or 9 guys we could pick up along the way, really. So give me Oakland to cover as well.
I'm trying to flesh this out. I'm like, okay, let's get Wayne Henderson. Let's get Dallin. Maybe he can play the slot. I don't know. Yeah. We might be able to do this. At Cincinnati, the Bengals, or shall I say the Bungles after last week, they're going to lay 7 to Cleveland. This should be a barn burner of a game. I am taking Cleveland getting a 7. This should be a very hotly contested game. Mello, who you got?
Yeah, I don't like losing Hayden on this one, but this is the Battle of Ohio. So, even the winner loses in that one.
Ooh.
So give me Cleveland plus the 7, because I think you're right. I think this game is going to be a real barn burner, or you're going to want to burn your house down before the game ends.
Oh, nice. Houston is going to lay 7 on the road at empty Jacksonville Stadium.
Hello.
Is there anyone here? Oh, there's a couple people. I am not in love with taking Houston laying points on the road. I think they're a really good team this year. I think they're better than last year. But Jacksonville can run the ball a bit. And I'm going to say Jacksonville plus that 7. I'm not that confident, but I'm about 55% sure that they can stay within the 7. Mello, who are you going to take?
Because Houston is just a more balanced team, and they're trying to play more balanced this year, and they have a better defense. I'm comfortable laying the 7 points, so
okay.
I'll take Houston laying the 7.
Okay, just Jacksonville. There's certain teams, and Jacksonville's one of them that, to me, just bring you down into the muck.
Yeah, this is true. But they don't have a home field advantage.
No.
Because they're not in L.A. yet. Oh.
Dallas, the Cowboys, and the Jerry Wipes are going to lay 3 points on the road at Seattle. I think this is going to be a good game. I hope I get to see this game on TV in my area. I'm going to take Dallas laying the 3, but I'm really hoping Seattle puts up a good show. Who are you taking?
I like Dallas this year, and I'm not backing down off of that strong play. Dallas -3.
Okay. Washington, and everybody's going to be griffining, or whatever it is. Bob Griffin III is going to lay 3 at St. Louis. After watching St. Louis and the Lions last week, Washington better beat them. They just better beat them by 3. Just don't have 4 turnovers, and you should easily beat them by 3. I'm taking Washington. Who you got?
I got Washington as well. I think don't count out the Washington defense. I think people just want to talk about Bob Griffin, but don't count out that Redskin defense.
Yeah, Bob Griffin here. At Pittsburgh, the Steelers. They are going to be hurrying up to the line of scrimmage, if that's possible. They're going to lay 5 points to the visiting New York Jets. Man, this one just seems like a no-brainer. I'm taking the Jets getting 5 points, dude. Who's your pick?
Yeah, I still, I said all along, I think the Jets are a pretty good team. So getting them +5, I don't know how somebody might know something that I don't know, which is very rare. But, yeah, I'm taking the Jets getting the points in this one. Kind of a no-brainer.
At San Diego, the Chargers are going to lay 6 to the Tennessee Titans. I just think this is a matchup of one team haveth weapons and the other team doth not. So give me San Diego. They should shellac these guys. I know he's trying to, I know they're trying to coach Tennessee up and all that stuff, but somebody's cleaning out their locker. All right, Mello, who you taking?
Yeah, I don't like Tennessee on the road, so give me San Diego. They won last week without doing so in impressive fashion. I think they look a little better this week.
I don't like Tennessee at home. All right. At San Francisco, the 49ers Handshake Bowl. They're going to lay 7 points to the slap-happy Detroit Lions. Man, if the Lions have any kind of meltdown with turnovers, this game will get ugly.
Yep.
San Francisco basically does the things that Detroit can't defend well. And that's going to cause all kinds of problems. I don't think Detroit is going to stay in this game. Injured Calvin Johnson. The secondary is banged up. This has all the makings of a beat down. Give me the 49ers -7. Who you taking?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the Lions held the running game in check last week, and I just don't see how they do that 2 weeks in a row. So I think I see them getting gashed by big runs and falling for the play action, the secondary just falling apart. I just don't see their defense showing up 2 weeks in a row, I'm sorry to say, with the injuries. And that if Calvin goes out of the game, it just changes everything. So 7 doesn't look that large at this point. I think San Francisco does have a home field advantage, and they're just the better team.
And the Monday night game, it's going to be at Atlanta. They're going to lay 3 to Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos at west to east, Mello. I'm taking Atlanta. I have given Atlanta a hard rap over the last 3 seasons, and it's time for me to just, take them from week to week. I think the Falcons win this game outright. Who are you taking?
Hey, I've been perfect with Denver so far, so I'm just going to stick with them.
All right, Mello, the last thing, Handshake Bowl. Do they shake hands or not, Mello?
I would like to believe that the commissioner has already talked to both of them about this. I really believe that. I know there's probably no way to get confirmation on it, but I believe that he's already spoken to both of them on it and that they will shake hands.
Okay. I think emotions take over. Somebody's going to get whooped on in this game, and I don't think there's going to be a handshake. Not a civil one, anyway.
I've been working all season on my hand-crushing technique here.
Oh, they're just out at they're still at the 50 trying to crush each other's hands.
That would be freaking hilarious.
I think ratings would go through the roof.
Get your shoulder into it. More elbow.
Oh, nice. Mello, anything else before we call it a show, buddy?
I looked at last year's week 1, and it was pretty even, as far as the home dogs and favorites and such. And last week, you can't get any more even than home favorites 5-5, home dogs 3-3, road favorites 3-3, road dogs 5-5. So Vegas knew exactly what they were doing on that. My best bets, that Seattle receiver that dropped that ball cost me, so I went 1-2. Big spread's 2-1, so I'm not going to be afraid of the big spreads, not this early yet.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't flipped the script on us yet. And they usually will wait until we're sucked in at about week 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. Then they'll say, oh, you're stupid. You took the spreads.
You know how they roll.
Unfortunately, I do. But, folks, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Mello's NFL Weekly. We hope you had as much fun as we had. And make sure you tune in every Saturday right here on Tiger Prince Entertainment. For Mello Betts, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, my friends, we're signing off.
If you have comments or feedback, you can email the guys at tprfans@yahoo.com. That's tprfans@yahoo.com, or call the voicemail line at +1 810 309 8445.